What's going on, arcade nerds? I just traded a rip-off machine for another rip-off machine and a lunar lander. I thought I got a pretty sweet deal. See, I have two rip-off machines. I had two rip-off machines, and I traded one for this cocktail and a really nice lunar lander that doesn't work. Oh, by the way, this doesn't work either. But man, this looks awesome. I think it's really close. We're going to try to get it running today in the living room. I'm bringing it directly to the living room. So let me carry it in. Okay, I got it in the living room. Now this is a Centuri. I don't know how you pronounce it. Everyone has a different pronunciation for this game, but this is a Centuri licensed rip-off cocktail. Okay, now Cinematronics made the guts for this machine, and they said, okay, Centuri, you can sell it. We're going to give you a license to sell it. Okay, so this machine was actually produced by Centuri, not Cinematronics, even though Cinematronics made the guts. Now, I haven't seen too many of these. Unfortunately, the average cocktail seems to go for less money than the average upright arcade machine. There is exceptions. Warlords for number one. I try to stay away from cocktails. But man, this just looks too damn cool. Look at the artwork on this thing. This is beautiful. And okay, so let me tell you. First off, let me explain this. The reason I showed a picture of a van. I don't know if you've seen my channel before, but I have a truck, right? My damn truck, the engine blew up. So luckily, I have a buddy of mine that is letting me use his van for now until I figure out how to, save up some money to get another beater. But okay, I traded an upright ripoff for this machine and a lunar lander. Okay, now he wanted his machine to work, of course. So I told him that, yeah, I will pull the guts out of the cocktail and put it in the upright. Well, I just didn't have the heart. So what I ended up doing was fixing boards for ripoff, and I gave him all working boards, and I kept the monitor in here, and I repaired a monitor. That way two ripoffs can live instead of destroying one for the other. So I actually ended up, let's look under the hood. I ended up, this is still the original monitor that came with it, which is a good thing because I did notice that this monitor is different. It has a few little differences than other Cinematronics monitors. For example, this is a vector beam monitor with the vector beam plug. If you didn't know, Cinematronics came in two flavors. There was vector beam, which is earlier, and then when vector beam and Cinematronics merged again, they made a Cinematronics. Well, the plug for the monitor is different. So this machine actually has the vector beam plug in the back of the monitor. I also noticed, let me move the camera so you can kind of see it. By the way, isn't that badass how the monitor swivels out? See, I just didn't feel right about butchering this thing, so I want to keep it. I want to keep it original. It just doesn't hit me right, you know. But okay, normally your Cinematronics monitor has a different plug right here. And this has its own specific plug. And I didn't want to hack the harness to make it work, you know. I want to keep this right. And also, there's a metal frame that mounts these two heat sinks right here and right here. And so, I didn't want to mess with all that. I want to keep this original. So let me. I do have a board. I'm going to stick a board in here. To be honest, it hasn't been completely tested. What I did was, I got a scope on it to make sure I'm getting outputs to the monitor, but whether those outputs are correct or not, we're going to find out in a few seconds here. But yeah, this is basically what I believe. Right here's one control panel, and the other control panel's on the other side. But I believe this is wired exactly the same way. And right here is your ribbon cable that goes to the board for your controls. And right here the ribbon cable for the monitor. Now, unlike an Atari machine, which would have X and Y and Z directly coming out from the board, Instead, this has data lines that feed the DACs, and it also feeds an intensity circuit on the Cinematronics monitor. So, oh, by the way, Cinematronics has 3 different intensities: all the way on, halfway on, and completely off. So there's just a couple wires that go through this ribbon cable that control intensities, and the rest is all DAC data. Data to your digital to analog converter, which basically kind of goes through audio amps, sort of, kind of, maybe, to make this monitor drive, to drive this monitor and make a picture. Also, this little tiny ribbon cable here goes to the soundboard. And yeah, so let me slide this board in, and let's see if I can get this sucker to fire up. Okay, so I was kind of in a scramble to because I just found out that this cocktail was going to be mine yesterday, so I was kind of in a scramble to get a rip-off board working. So right here it is, and I'm going to go ahead and put it in here. Now this board can also be rigged, and also comes in several different Cinematronic vectors. In fact, nearly all Cinematronic vectors have a variant of this board, and almost all Cinematronic vectors, this board can be converted to run other games. So I actually had the parts, you know, for this machine already. So let me plug this guy in. Now, I don't even know if this board's going to work. I believe it is. I didn't actually look at it with a scope, or with a monitor attached. One interesting thing about these boards is, let's say you have a Cinematronics board, Cinematronics vector that's blowing the breakers. If you didn't know, there's 2 breakers on Cinematronic vector games. If it's blowing the breakers, you could have a monitor issue or a board issue. Unlike Atari vectors or things like that, you know. Let's see here. By the way, I put tape here on these just so I know which side was up, according to how the cabinet was. Okay, looks like that's my volume knob right down there. Okay, so let me put this sucker down. Pretty cool how this monitor is like this. I see there's a couple screws missing that hold that monitor down, but don't really need it. Let me detach this camera. Now these are the breakers I'm talking about. These 2 breakers right here. They can actually trip if there's any issues, you know what I mean, with your game. And okay, now when I got this machine, it had this put in for the coin mech, and so at least someone didn't ruin it, you know what I mean. But I don't know which roll down acceptor this took, but I did put this one in, so I don't really know. So you know what, if anyone has a rip-off cocktail, let me know which roll-down acceptor is supposed to be there. This is just the one I put in because it looked pretty. But anyway, so for now this is going to start the game like this. But so let me close this sucker up. Oh. Now I'm one-handed. Okay, I got that one. I got that one. Okay, let me get this camera on the stand, and I'm gonna give it some power and see what happens. Well, let me plug it in. Listen to that fan. It's there. It looks beautiful. Looks beautiful. Let me try to coin. Oh, I can't coin this up. Yeah, I can. Maybe. I'll have to do it this way. Pull the interlock. Let me adjust the volume a little bit. By the way, if you're watching this video, you might be into Cinematronics games. Anyways, a buddy of mine just started a YouTube channel. His name is Bobby Jackson. I'm going to put a link to his channel in the description. And I forget his actual channel name. It's Bobby. He just started his channel. But I believe in his channel he actually did unofficially broke the world record on Star Castle. Dude's a pretty good player. So check out the link that's going to be below right now. Yeah, it's rip-off. I wonder if I can drop this real quick, and maybe while I still have a charge in the capacitors, keep the screen going. Does that make sense? Yep. Well, I think that's about it. If you like this kind of stuff, please subscribe. Have a nice day. Check out my other videos. All right, have a good one.